The last couple lessons we've been learning about fractions, and our goal for today is I can tell that more equal shares of the same whole create smaller shares. Now that's a lot of words and that's kind of confusing sounding. I don't think you'll find this too hard. We'll talk about what this means in just a second. Look at the pizzas. One pizza is cut into 4 equal shares. See this pizza cut into 4 equal shares. Remember, equals means same. So 1 share, 2 share, 3 share, 4 share. So it's cut into 4 pieces that are the same size, 4 equal shares. And one pizza is cut into 2 equal shares. 1, 2. The pizza with the fourths has smaller shares. So what does fourths mean? Fourths just means that it's cut into 4 parts. So you can see that if you were getting a piece of pizza, and if you got this piece, it would be a lot smaller than if you were getting this piece. So that's what it's saying here. The pizza with the fourths has smaller shares. The pizza that is cut into halves has bigger pieces but fewer shares. So this pizza has bigger shares, but there's less shares. There's only 1, 2. Where this pizza you could share with 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what is kind of what the goal for this lesson is, that the more times you share it, the smaller the piece is going to be. So 2, that's not a lot of people. So you're going to get really big pieces. But if you're sharing a pizza with 4 people, well, those pieces are going to be a lot smaller. And then think about if you had to share it with 8 people. Well, now your pizza is going to get even smaller. What if we had 1 pizza for the whole class? So we had to split it 22 ways. Now those are going to be some really small slices. So that's what our goal is today, just understanding that the more shares you have, right, the more people you share it with, the smaller the pieces have to be. Okay, which shape has more equal shares? So be careful what's asking, more equal shares. So A has 4, B has 2. So A has more equal shares because 4 is bigger than 2. Which shape has more equal shares? Once again, A has 4, B only has 2, so A has more equal shares. Which shape has larger equal shares? Now be careful, it's asking a different question this time. It's not asking which one has more shares. It's saying which one is larger. Remember, larger means bigger. Okay, pretend this was a candy bar. If you're getting this piece or that piece, what's going to be larger? Well, obviously, this piece. So even though A has less shares, the shares are larger. So the correct answer is A. These shares, because it's only cut into 2, are larger than B, which is cut into 4. Which shape has larger equal shares? All right, once again, be careful what's asking. Which one has larger equal shares, not which one has more. Okay, the correct answer is obviously B has larger shares than A. This piece right here is a lot bigger than one of these pieces. How are we feeling? Hopefully you're doing all right with this. Draw two squares like the ones below. All right, let's start with that. I'm gonna go ahead and get my Show Me app. I'd recommend you doing the same thing. You can always pause it if you need a second to get it out. So again, it says draw two squares like the ones below. Okay, the next part says draw lines in the second square to make smaller equal shares in the pink one. So this second one right here needs to have smaller equal shares than this one. Remember, this one has two. So if we're looking for smaller equal shares, think about it. Are we going to need to have more shares or less shares? Well, if we cut it once, they're the same size. But if we cut it again, oh, now you see how this is a lot smaller than this. So by cutting into 4 equal shares, it's a lot smaller. And you could have cut it into more than 4. We're gonna make some really small ones here. I mean, if you wanted to, this right here is 16 shares. And you can see how tiny those are. So there's lots of ways you could have drawn it as long as you had more than 2 shares. And then finally, our challenge today is to draw the circle. So go ahead and draw that circle on your Show Me app. Divide the circle into halves. So when it says to divide into halves, it means to cut it in half. One really easy way to do it is just draw a line down the middle, cut in half. Shade in 1/2 of the circle. So we're going to take 1/2 and shade it in. Now 1/2 of the circle is shaded. 1/2 is not. And that's it for today.